Hi, friends. Um, COVID is really serious in Uganda. It is ramping through the entire country. People are dying left, right, and center. Uh, Unfortunately, uh, people in the Museveni's regime, they are also becoming another COVID, whereby as people are dying, most of them are making profits and they are earning big out of this entire disaster that we are facing as a country. Now, it is so interesting that not so many people are paying attention to a few individuals in this entire COVID saga, people who have stolen money and all this kind of stuff. I'll try my best to uncover and bring to your attention so many issues that are happening as a result, or so much money that has been unaccounted for, and so many dots that do not connect. Now, whereas people are talking about the Dr. Diana Atwines, the Ruth Achengs of this world, people are not paying so much attention about Museveni's brother, a one Caleb Akandanaho, also known as Salim Saleh. Now, if you hear Salim Saleh, it's not because he's not a Muslim. He's I don't know, I think he's spiritual, but his name, that's the name that stuck with him, Salim Saleh, but his real names are Caleb Akwandanaho. Now, Caleb has been Museveni's fixer for a very long time. Whenever things fail, or whenever Museveni needs to transfer money or to steal money from one place to another, Mr. Saleh has always been that fixer. Mr. Saleh has also played a very big role in buying off Museveni's opponents, as well as giving money to people or buying people who are anti-Museveni. That is his role. And also consolidating those ones who or consolidating and capturing groups like musicians, groups like drama actors, and things of that sort to prevent them from being very vocal against Museveni. His other role is also buying from Museveni properties, as well as his managing the family wealth. Saleh has also been a person who has been opening up businesses under different names and giving people money, and also creating what we call diversions in politics by bringing up socialites and things of that sort. So that's the gentleman Saleh, Museveni's fixer. Now, definitely a person of that caliber or a person of that CV, he must have done something within the COVID funds that actually got lost. And no one has come out to say a word or two about Mr. Salim Saleh. All of a sudden, these days, we see so many musicians, they are running to Saleh. Saleh is the one finishing all their problems. Musicians, promoters, drama actors, everyone says, oh, we have been to Saleh, we have gone to Saleh, we have been to Saleh, we have gone to Saleh. Now, the other issue is also that Salim Saleh has been camping in the northern part of Uganda for now close to a year. Those are questions we should be asking. What is Salim Saleh doing in northern Uganda? It does not come as a surprise that while Bobi Wine was winning in the north, because that is where his first campaigns started from, Museveni had to send one of his most trusted fixers and henchman, Salim Saleh, to counter the NUP force and the People Power force in northern Uganda. And then COVID happened. When COVID happened, there was a lot of money to be made. You see, when these dictatorships are stealing money, they don't only steal from the local people, but they also steal from the international donors. Now, this is what is interesting. Earlier this year, the Auditor General, known as one Mr. Mwanga, released a report showing which ministry was given which money, how much funds they collected, and which people signed for the money and which people distributed what. So, just for my own investigative instinct, I was like, oh, I think I should check out Salim Saleh. So, as you see on the screen, you might be seeing, oh, Sylvia Award. What does this have to do with Salim Saleh? Well, I'll get to that in a few. Now, When we go to this report that was released by the Auditor General, it says that reporting template for all COVID-19 related procurements, name of entity, Office of the Prime Minister, financial year 2019-2020, date of submission, the 3rd of February 2021. Now, most of you should understand that the Office of the Prime Minister was given 59 billion Ugandan shillings to fight COVID-19 through providing relief, food relief. Like they were buying food and then giving it to people, the posho and beans, if you guys remember very well. Now, what is interesting is that when I was looking through this list, I was looking for Saleh's name. I couldn't come across it. I was like, oh, Saleh missed out on the COVID funds. Mr. Saleh, for the very first time, he did the right thing. He has not involved himself in any scandal because him and Sam Kutesa have been on competition. When Sam Kutesa does something, either his family member or someone, Saleh comes out and does something much bigger. Sam Kutesa does something, Saleh, these guys have been competing. And they're all related through marriages and stuff like that. But anyway, if you look closer, there is something known as Operation Wealth Creation. Now, for those of you who don't know what Operation Wealth Creation is, I'll just Google it for you over here. Okay, now Operation Wealth Creation is something that Museveni and his people started, whereby they are giving wealth to people by giving them heifers, by giving them seeds and stuff of that kind. Now, when you go to Operation Wealth Creation here, it doesn't have much, but what is interesting is that it is only run by 4 people. It is run by the Chief Coordinator, Salim Saleh, Lieutenant General Charles Angina, the Deputy Coordinator, as well as Sylvia Awori, and I will come to this one. And then this one, John Wambogo, he is the Director of ICT in Operation Wealth Creation. Now, this is really interesting that Museveni wants to create wealth for Ugandans, and then he puts his brother and fixer in charge of the entire operation. And we know very well that Uganda has a case with Congo, and it all has to do with Mr. Saleh. Now, let's go back. When you go through this list of suppliers, we came across an issue where we saw that Operation Wealth Creation supplied 4,000 metric tons of maize flour. So it was the biggest supplier. 4,000 metric tons of maize flour, that is posho. And then, of course, the bidding was restricted. Emergency procurement, it means that you don't have to go through the entire system that as it is stipulated in the PPDA Act. But then the details of the supplier was Operation Wealth Creation, which is really interesting. Now, it was given 10 billion Ugandan shillings to supply that posho. And they said, according to the Auditor General's report by James Mwanga, that they supplied all the metric tons and it was completed. And the beneficiaries of this posho were the beneficiaries were people in Kampala and Wachiso residents. So, who signed for the money that they received? Who signed for the 10 billion? Sylvia Awori. She's the one that signed for the money. Now, I'll come back to Sylvia Awori and why she was appointed Operation Wealth Creation. But just to tickle your mind, you have to keep in mind this particular date, and also keep in mind that Sylvia Awori was appointed as Director of Operation Wealth Creation, I think on the 2nd of January at the beginning of this year. And then this report was released on the 3rd of February 2021. Now, I will scroll here, and then we see, when you scroll down here, you will see that beans. Again, Operation Wealth Creation supplied 1,800 metric tons of beans, bidding restricted, Operation Wealth Creation, and it was paid 8.1 billion Ugandan shillings. The beans were all supplied, and the person who held the money was Sylvia Awori. Now, of the food that was supplied, this is what happened. This was on the April 19th, 2020. UNBS holds 100 metric tons of COVID-19 relief food over poor quality. Now, we all understand that the food that was provided to people, number one, it was expired. Most of it was expired. Some of them had poisonous elements and things of that sort. Now, that was according to their own organization known as the UNBS. Now, according to the Nile Post, they said that according to the quality body, 63 tons of maize flour were 63 tons for maize flour, whereas 41 tons for beans that were meant for government's relief distribution program for the vulnerable families in Kampala and Wakiso affected by COVID-19 lockdown. We have had challenges, especially with the beans. They are telling us that it is because of the season. We have rejected many tons. They have had to take them back and return them after sorting, Executive Director said. UNBS said that the move to check the quality of food distributed to the vulnerable people in Kampala followed numerous complaints from members of the public prompting the quality body to swing into action. He said that in just 1 week they have found 104 tons of relief food, including food donated by well-wishers, was not meeting the required standards. Earlier this week, businessman Apollo Nyegamehe, commonly known as Zamponye, was in the spotlight for allegedly supplying substandard food deemed to be unfit for human consumption. The Minister of Kampala, Betty Amongi, said that Amponye's supply contract had been terminated after officials from the office of the Prime Minister discovered that the food consignments had been supplied were of poor quality. Now let us stop there. Of course, Amponye was put to the sword. But what is interesting is Amponye was not the biggest supplier of posho and beans in the country. The biggest supplier of posho and beans in the country was Operation Wealth Creation, which was under Salim Saleh by that time. That is in April 2020, because Sylvia Awori comes in January 2021. Now, what is fascinating is, if you are saying that it is Amponye that supplied the substandard food, so are you trying to mean that Operation Wealth Creation, all the food they supplied was standard? Number one. Number two, who were the beneficiaries under Operation Wealth Creation that supplied the food? Because you cannot tell us that Operation Wealth Creation supplied the food, because they might come up with the argument that, oh, no, Operation Wealth Creation buys the food from the growers and then it keeps it and then it sells it at a certain price. Look here. According to the report, if at all that is the case, still some metric tons or some tons of Operation Wealth Creation must have been flagged as substandard food or food that does not reach a particular standard that was necessary to be given to the vulnerable people. Now, what is fascinating about this entire issue is this. There's two possibilities. Either, number one, Operation Wealth Creation did not supply the food, or Operation Wealth Creation supplied all the food that was found in Kampala and Wakiso, because that is the area where they supplied their food, was most of it must have come from Operation Wealth Creation. And because they had taken the most money, they did not want to be put into the limelight. So someone else had to take the sword, because this was Museveni's brother who had taken the money to supply the food, because it is an organization that is headed by 4 individuals. So, in total, Operation Wealth Creation under Salim Saleh by then was given 18 billion Ugandan shillings to supply maize flour, that is posho, as well as beans, of which these posho and beans was not supplied. Because if it was supplied, we would have seen Salim Saleh we would have seen Salim Saleh asked to account, or we would have seen Operation Wealth Creation food being one of the substandard one. Now, by the fact that they stopped this so-called Amponye, it means that Amponye did supply the food, but part of the food was not good. But there is nowhere in the list of poor food, even the list is not even there, that shows that Operation Wealth Creation actually supplied any food, or that some of their food was bad and maybe Operation Wealth Creation was told to account or to stop the supply. Now, let us enter Sylvia Awori. As the third wave of COVID-19 has been hitting Uganda, we all understand that the government, Museveni, was looking for money abroad, trying to get loans from World Bank as well as the IMF. Now, IMF put the government on pressure and told them, if at all you did not give us accountability for the first batch of money that we gave you, that amounts to around 489 million US dollars, we are not going to give you any other penny. And so, what is interesting is that, of course, it is the first family that benefited a lot. It is Museveni that benefited a lot through the suppliers and all this kind of stuff. We saw Sam Kutesa's daughters, of which one of them is married to Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is the first son. And also we see Salim Saleh under Operation Wealth Creation. He's also supplying worth 18 billion shillings. We also see people like Amponye who are linked to the government in one way or the other. Now, let us first see this article by the Watchdog. Sylvia Awori appointed Operation Wealth Creation Director of Operations. Sylvia Damari Awori has been appointed to take over as Director of Operations at Operation Wealth Creation. Now, when we go back to this thing, by the time these people received 18 billion, Sylvia Awori was not there. Salim Saleh, Anjina, and Wambogo were the only people running this particular institution, whatever this particular thing. So they received the 18 billion. These three people only. So I don't know how these three people actually managed to deliver all this posho and beans and all this kind of stuff. Because the lesser people you have, the more noise you will get in an institution. It means that it will be easier for you to corrupt a few people there and here and there, and then they will keep quiet and then chew the rest of the 18 billion. Now, Sylvia Awori, a renowned fashion designer who has been serving as executive assistant to Operation Wealth Creation Coordinator, Salim Saleh, announced on Friday that she had been appointed to the position. Now, we all know that Awori has no experience in handling, because she has a business of doing makeup, blah, blah, but her business is not even worth 1 billion Ugandan shillings. This is a person who has just been a secretary to Salim Saleh, and now he has been made the director of operations. Now, the lady, it is said that she was made director on the 28th of December 2020. But this article came out 6 months ago. That is around January the 1st of this year, 2021. Now, this is what is interesting. When they were signing on who received the money or who is accountable for the money, number one, who is accountable on who is accountable on the supplies that were, if a deep audit is to be done in Operation Wealth Creation's supply, who is accountable? The name of the director that was put there is Sylvia Awori. Now, this tells us 2 or 3 things. Number one, that Sylvia Awori was not appointed to run Operation Wealth Creation, but Sylvia Awori was appointed to put up a face for Operation Wealth Creation so that Salim Saleh's name does not appear anywhere in anything related to COVID-19. Now, that is why you see that Sylvia Awori is on this page, but I believe she did not touch a single penny. All they did was to get her and put a signature on a piece of paper. But I'm not well conversant, or I'm not very sure if I told Sylvia Awori was aware on what she was signing for. Because if accountability things come about and, you need to put someone on the cross or throw someone under the bus, Sylvia Awori is the perfect candidate to be thrown under the bus. Because all these deals were done in Operation Wealth Creation, and all this stuff were done at a time when she wasn't there, or at a time when she was a secretary. And then for her, she sees being a director of OWC is a promotion, but to Saleh, it just placed right directly into his arms, as well as his puppet master known as Museveni. Now, what is very interesting also is the fact that this is the other article about Salim Saleh appointing Sylvia Awori. Now, what is interesting is the fact that what we see these days is that everyone is running to General Salim Saleh, that he is the one with the money. NUP guys who are crossing over, people in the opposition who are crossing over, people who are being bought, they are all running to Saleh. That includes even musicians, that includes even, what do you call these people, promoters, that includes everyone, people who have bars, restaurants, they are all running to Saleh to give them money. Which budget does Saleh run, number one? And where does Saleh get all this money? Well, I hope now I have answered your question. So whenever you see Salim Saleh out there dashing money and these people running to him, well, you shouldn't be asking any more questions on where the money is coming from, because 18 billion Ugandan shillings is unaccounted for. That was given to Operation Wealth Creation to supply food. Although the Auditor General released a report that showed that these people completed their supply, there is no evidence that shows that really Operation Wealth Creation supplied the food, because they supplied the most food, but they want to give us a facade that their food was the most perfect, their food was the one without any issues, which is really interesting. And all the people, another question we should ask, if Ampanya was stopped from supplying, and then he was paid over 5 billion, 8 billion, 15 billion Ugandan shillings to supply, where did all that money go? Where did all that money go? Because if you stop someone from supplying, it means that that money has to be accounted for, or he has to, you send the food back or this kind of stuff, and then this person has to return the money. So where did all that money go? Now, thank you very much for listening. And this is just the food. I haven't even touched the vaccines. I haven't even touched the tents. There is so much rot in the entire COVID situation that has been happening in the country today. So I hope you guys can see what is going on, and I wish all the best to Sylvia Awori, because trust me, you're gonna need you are going to need it, like it or not. You're going to need luck. I don't wish you the best, but I wish you luck, Sylvia Awori, because you are going to need it. Have a blessed one. Guys, please subscribe and share and do whatever you have to do. Comment and let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye.